I'm 24 and traveling a lot as an opera singer. How can I meet a high value girl ready to share that lifestyle?
The Oprah lifestyle? Oprah.
Opera, opera,
Oprah Winfrey lifestyle?
opera
Maybe the
singer.
opera. Well, like attracts like. People that like the same things tend to like each other. And so in that case, you want to lean in to your love of opera and make friends based upon people that have the same love of opera.
Hmm.
And because it's when you lose yourself in your hobbies and your interests and the things you really love doing for fun, it's like something like that. I assume he's going
Hmm.
and he's watching different shows. There's probably clubs and organizations that he can join for people that are fans of the opera or the performing arts. Living in an area like I know when I lived in downtown Orlando, there was this brand new performing arts center
Hmm.
that opened up. One of my girlfriends at the time, like we went to the Nutcracker
Yeah.
that they had there, and that was really cool because it was a beautiful stage. It was a beautiful brand new, I don't know, 200, $300 million performing arts center right in downtown Orlando. And like when you go to events like that, it's not like going to a football game. It's like it's a different class of people that are going to
Yeah.
go to a cultural center like that because the tickets aren't cheap.
Hmm.
Neither are the drinks. There's food there. It's people are dressed up, and so you get a higher caliber, higher IQ, higher class of
Right.
people there.
Yeah.
And so if you're into something, like that, it's just going and making friends and creating a social life around enjoying and taking in those kinds of events. And so obviously it would behoove you to live somewhere to where you can really enjoy
Yeah.
something like that where they have lots of operas.
Hmm.
Or I think he said he likes traveling around, right?
He travels because he's an opera,
Opera singer.
opera singer. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just hanging out. It could be in the hotel.
Hmm.
You could be there in the hotel lobby having dinner or whatever, and maybe a girl that saw your performance is in town because she came to see you, or she's in town with her husband or her boyfriend because they came to see you, and you start chatting or whatever. And then next thing you know, her single sister comes down to meet them. And they're like, "Oh, this is my sister." And then you start talking, and she's like, "Oh, I loved your show." And plus, he's on stage,
Yeah.
so he's in a position of authority, just like it has the same effect that a rock and roll musician would
Hmm.
on most women. And it's easy
Hmm.
to transition from that to meeting somebody to going out on a date or having an instant date right there. Oh, hey, why don't you join us? And
Right.
that's just how things like that kind of happen.
Hmm.
Not because he's out trying to meet women, he's just out and living and enjoying his life. And so you want to lean into that and do more of those things, and you create a social circle, you create friends, you come across other people that like to do those things socially, and then you start to hang out with the people that you meet, maybe other performers in or maybe some of the people that are in part of the orchestra or whatever. And then it's like in the bar and the restaurant business. People that tend to work in places like that, they like to hang out, they like to drink, they like to go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
And when you work at a place like that, everybody works together and they go to the bars and places that they like to hang out because they like doing the same things. And it's fun to do that because then you meet other people that like that kind of lifestyle and like doing those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so in this case, it's just do more of that. Where are those kinds of people hanging out that like
So
those kinds of events?
how do you, because I feel like not only for his situation, I feel like maybe for like pilots or flight attendants who are constantly like traveling, or even if you're in a high level like sports league or something, like you're traveling the country or something to go to games, like how does someone create a stable relationship, because your life is always
Pilots and
just
flight attendants, they're always fucking. I've done a lot of phone sessions over the years with pilots getting involved with flight attendants and other female pilots or people in the industry. It's like that's so common.
yeah.
Because again, you're just going to work every day, and you're in that case you're stuck in the germ tube together for hours and hours at a time,
Hmm.
and you got downtime. You're the stewardesses are on the plane before it takes off. The pilots are there. When you do the same routes, you get to know everybody,
Yeah.
and even if you don't date one of the flight attendants, you might end up dating one of the flight attendants' friends who might also be a flight attendant, or works in the industry in some kind of way, maybe the front office or something like that. And so
Mhm.
it's those things are going to happen. It's actually pretty common for I saw a stat or a study that was done. It was something like, at least in the past, it was something like 44% of all relationships started at the workplace. Like people met
Yeah.
at work. And
Mhm.
so when you think about it, because again, like attracts like, people that like the same things tend to like each other. And so what is a company? It's like you get a group of like-minded people together who enjoy doing the same kinds of things together.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy the same kind of work, typically you find that you have commonality in your hobbies and your interests and the things that you love doing for fun. And so those things naturally are going to happen. But obviously, you always got to worry about the Me Too thing. And that's like, at least from the guy's perspective, especially because I know we've answered this question before, is like the best thing for the guy to do is to not ask a girl out at all. Because if a woman likes you, she'll put herself in your orbit. And it's better to do things as like a group, or like, hey, my buddies and I, we're all going downtown to this place or whatever, or hey, we're going to an opera. You should come with some of the other girls from the office. I think they said they're going to go too or whatever.
Yeah.
And you go as a group and you hang out. And because when a girl likes you, she's going to come around you more. She's going to have a reason to come up to you and talk to you and engage you in conversation.
Yeah.
And so just hanging out socially, it's like you look for the subtle cues. Does she come over and start touching your arm? Is she playing with her hair when she's standing next to you? Is she laughing at all your stupid jokes that aren't very funny, but she likes you and she's going to think they're funny? It's like you
Yeah.
notice the signs of attraction that are there that I talk about in my book, 3% Man.
Mhm.
And then when you see it, it's like typically what happens in those situations is as the evening goes on, the people that you all go out with in a group, they tend to fall away. And then as you're having a good time with each other, it just ends up being the two of you at the end of the night.
Right.
And then, if the signs are there that she's ready to be kissed, you start kissing, you start making out, then you leave, you go back to your place or her place or whatever.
Mm.
And then, you end up in the promised land. It's much better to do it that way because she's the one moving it along, and women like you and they'll help you. And in that case, you create the conditions where you make it easy for her to go out of her way to get your attention because women do that naturally.
Yeah.
Even though all women say, "Oh, I like to be chased," it's like you guys like to kind of kick the snowball down the hill
Mm.
and then see what happens.
Yeah.
Start the ball rolling.